The meeting now. First, we will start with, can everyone stand for the anthem? Please remain standing. I'd like to call on Mr. Rajan Pari to give us a word of prayer.
Dear Lord, we are gathered here this evening in your name. We seek your blessings on this meeting and pray your guidance in all the matters discussed, that we may bring some relief and some fruition to our endeavors here this evening, to the benefit of all gathered. We pray, O Lord, that at the end of this meeting, you take us safely to our homes and keep us there in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Pari. So I would like to recognize our minister, our member of parliament, and minister from local government, Ms. Khadijah. I would also like to recognize the representatives from the various agencies, government agencies that should have. We have Ministry of Works, Drainage Division, Mr. Pakistan Dick. He's the superintendent for Central, and he has always worked with myself in Bamboo 2 and Bamboo 3, and we appreciate that. We have Mr. Shiva Ramsubha. He's a site engineer in the Ministry of Works and Drainage Division. We have a Ministry of Highways Division, Mr. Mark Cooper and Ms. Patrice Caprieta, as hoping I pronounce that correct. So we also have Office of the Commissioner of State Land. The Commissioner of State Land is on her way. We have a representative here. We have Mr. Bishnal, Mr. Darren Wallace is also here. He's the technical advisor to the Minister of Land and Legal Affairs. We also have with us here our National Disaster Coordinator, Mr. Jerry Leavitt. We have also from the Traffic Management Branch, Mr. Adande Pigot, Chief Traffic Engineer. And also we have other reps. I would like to call upon Ms. Marissa Bulu to bring greetings from the residents on behalf of the residents of Bamboo 2. Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and blessings to all. Honorable Minister, Member of Parliament, Councillor Fima Ramsaran, distinguished guests, all protocols observed. I am Marissa Hulu, a resident of Bamboo, settlement number 2. It's my great honor to warmly welcome the Honorable Khadijah, Minister of Rural Development and Local Government and Member of Parliament for St. Augustine, Minister, we are truly grateful for your presence here this evening and for your unwavering dedication to the communities you serve. We also are delighted to welcome Councillor Seymour Augustine. Councillor, your commitment to our community is deeply appreciated, and we thank you for being with us here tonight. I would also like to extend a warm greetings to the representatives and officers here, the Ministry of Works Drainage Division, the Ministry of Works Highway Division, the Ministry of Rural Development, Disaster Unit, the Office of the Commissioner of State Lands, the Traffic Management Branch. Your presence here reflects the importance of partnership and collaboration as we come together to discuss the challenges in our communities and work towards practical, sustainable solutions. We also wish to extend our respectful greetings to all members of our diverse community. To all our Muslim brothers and sisters, we are Assalamu alaikum. To our Hindus brothers and sisters, namaste. To our Christian brothers and sisters, may the grace and peace of God be with you. In Trinidad and Tobago, our diversity is our greatest strength, and it is through unity, mutual respect, and cooperation that we continue to build stronger and better communities for everyone. Once again, thank you all for being here this afternoon. Good evening and blessing to each and every one of you.
I want to say thank you very much, Marissa. Marissa is part of the search training group. She's a member of a bunch of volunteers that has been doing a lot of work in the community. For that, we are very grateful, Marissa. Thank you very much, you and your team. And your job is very well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, tonight, this evening, I should say, I have the honor of being your chairperson / moderator. So, you, the residents of Bamboo, requested this community meeting, and your member of parliament delivered. So, let's give our round of applause. So, first I would like to call upon a representative from Drainage / Highway Division, Mr. Mark Cooper, to bring greetings.
Good afternoon, everybody. Very happy to be here and share with you what the ministry has been doing. And we look forward to as well hearing the concerns of the residents here of Bamboo number 2. With us today, we have the Director of Highways and as well representatives from the Drainage Division. So I know this area has suffered quite a bit in the past with flooding. So we're hoping today that any lingering issues of flooding, traffic, and so forth, we will be able to assist infrastructure rather. We will be able to assist with. So we intend to take copious notes, and if we don't have the answers here tonight, we will certainly come back and provide that feedback to you through the Member of Parliament of what our plans would be and how we could best assist. Right. So we are public servants, and this is our intention, our mandate to assist the public. So with just those few opening words, again, I just want to thank you for inviting the ministry here to share, and I look forward to hearing all of the comments and recommendations as well from the community. Right. So we are here to assist. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cooper. I will now call upon Mr. Rajesh Lal to bring this on behalf of the Commissioner of State Lands.
Honorable Minister, members of the head table, Bamboo residents, good evening. So as the senior would understand, Rajesh Lal, I'm advisor to the Minister of Land and Legal Affairs. I am just holding the chair until the Commissioner arrives. However, I do want to commend the minister for bringing all these parties together to try and help solve problems. I want to give the commitment as well. Commissioner of State Lands is under the Ministry of Land and Legal Affairs. And Minister, together with the entire team, we are committed to working to help resolve your issues. And we are very eager to hear to see how quickly we can bring them to resolution. So all the best, and I want to wish everybody Eid is up on us this week. I want to wish the Muslim community and all of Trinidad and Tobago Eid Mubarak. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. I will now call upon our representative for Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government Disaster Unit, our beloved, our very own national coordinator, Mr. Jerry David.
Minister for Development and Local Government, the Honorable Khadijah, Amern, and all my fellow public servants here. I'd like to welcome you to this meeting myself. I have had, because of the minister, before she was a minister, a close relationship with people in Bamboo. Lots of the times when things happen in the past, it's because of my affinity with the minister, which goes back a very, very, very long way. Like very, 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 very long way. Like when she was
Counselor.
when she was a counselor. I remember the first time I met her, I looked her in the eyes and I said, what a beautiful woman like you doing things like doing politics like this. I think it was when it was at the time of Basdale Pandey, way back then. And we were doing assessments. And I came from Digger Martin, I was the field officer there. And I came from Digger Martin to do assessments all over. And that's the first time I met her. And after that, this sort of affinity has been built. At the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government, Bamboo gets the most of the equipment the ministry has. Because FEMA, oh yes, FEMA, right now the backhoe is somewhere like C. And last year, she took it for about a month and a half. Yes. And the excavator, I don't know if you ever bought the excavator, but she always calls me, and other counselors will always call me, and the equipment is always loaned freely to SEMA. That is SEMA, that was before the Honorable Minister was minister. I think so. But and the affinity I have to your community is that many of the folks who sit here are still volunteers. That is, we train them to recognize, respond, and recover from disasters. And we equip them with all the food bags and all the equipment, the PPEs, so that they'll be able, should something happen, at least they know how to respond. Because things will happen. One has to learn to adapt to what is happening around them. And there are many people, some of whom are sitting here tonight, who have been trained as community emergency response team. Everybody may know Mitra Ramnath, a little short, sprightly, energetic, full of life. I took him out of Tunapona and I brought him to Get House. No, you're not gonna take him back. We keep him Mitra. Okay, because of his ability to get into the communities and do stuff, meet people, and we are willing and able to help you in whatever way. The equipment we have at the ministry was only bought when I got there. For backhoes, excavators, trucks. We are buying a low boy now to transport the equipment lots of stuff we're doing, because I think that we must help the regional corporations. We must help the regional corporations. I tell the regional corporations, at the ministry, we have more strategic reserves than they have put together in regional corporations. So I was telling SEMA how many chainsaws I have. I don't want to tell the Ministry of Works High Reservation that either. I don't want to tell them that either. Because in terms of if there's a item, I mean, just say these big words, if there's a storm and trees fall, we will need to get saws to cut them up. I have, in terms of have about 70, 80 saws.
We recently gave the each corporation.
Oh, yes, and we gave under the, of course, after speaking with the minister, I said to her, we have stuff here, we need to give it to the corporation. So we gave them mattresses, and we gave them tarpaulins, we gave them tools, we gave them wheelbarrows. We actually emptied the warehouse for them and gave it to all the corporations so that it's near to them, so that they can respond. Oh, by the way, I've actually filled back up the warehouse by now. By the way, I used to be a minister of religion. You know what minister of religion good at? Begging, asking for things. So I'm good at that. And it was no cost to the minister. I have to take her to see the number of things I have put back in that warehouse. And it didn't cost the state a cent. So that's what we're about. And we're about giving it to the communities. Supporting the communities through training, that's important. And that's why we have so many volunteers here tonight. And that's Mitchell's group, because he did a lot of training in that school, in that classroom across there sometime last year. And we graduated them at Naparima Bowl some time ago. And the minister was the featured speaker there. That has gone viral. Way back in Nebraska, so we in Nebraska stood, our volunteers have been responding to what we did. Preachers have two things: they can ask for money, and they can come on mic. They don't know when to shut up. We saw it going.
So residents of Bamboo, you will see why we have to be extra nice to Mr. David. So Mr. David, I was unaware of the excavator. Now that I know, you'll be hearing from me soon. I would like to call upon the representative for Traffic Management Branch, Mr. Dande Privat, to bring greetings.
Honorable Minister, good evening, fellow colleagues, Bamboo residents, good evening. It is a pleasure to be here this afternoon. I think about 2-3 weeks ago, the Minister and the Councillor and the Minister of Office spoke about some major concerns in the area respecting Bamboo. I think we offered some small solutions so that we could have the community sign petition, get the information, speak to TPS so that we could put things in place legally. We didn't get that advances yet. This meeting came, and I thought it was actually a very good idea to actually have the meeting to hear the information directly from the residents, because yes, we are the engineers, but they are living here. You know their problems, you feel their problems every single day. So I'm here, open ears, to listen. I don't have any solutions at this present point in time. I'm here to listen, hear where your problems and your cries are, take it back, look at possible solutions, and see how we can integrate any traffic rules. I know you have traffic rules, but I tell everyone all the time that roads don't really cause traffic. Land uses cause traffic. Right, so we'll see what we can do. And obviously, it's a community meeting, so obviously we'll have residents and business people here to hear the cries. So when we get that information, we'll be able to crunch it accordingly, pick up the relevant data so that we can bring forth some reasonable solutions. So thank you very much for this opportunity. And there, open ears, open arms to hear what's on the stage. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Baker. So before I move further into the meeting, I would like to recognize a few persons. I would like to recognize the hardworking staff of the MP's office. I would like to recognize members of the executive, the St. Augustine Executive, the chairman of the executive, Mr. McMahon, and other members of the executive. And thank them so much for coming out, always supporting St. Augustine. St. Augustine constituency means St. Augustine, and we appreciate when they assist and support throughout the constituency, not just the community they live in, but St. Augustine as a constituency. Right, so I want to say thanks for that. I will now call upon our Honorable Member of Parliament for St. Augustine and the Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, the Honorable Khadijah, to bring greetings.
Hello, okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good.
I want to thank Sima for coordinating this meeting and of course to all our representatives who are going beyond the 8 to 4 of government workers. We want you to know that we really appreciate your presence here this evening. And of course to all our residents of Bamboo community in particular, but those from the wider area. As a member of parliament, even in opposition, even during COVID, I made it my duty to visit people's homes one-on-one when we couldn't have meetings like these, when we couldn't have one-on-one in the office. And that has allowed me in opposition, and my first term as member of parliament, to keep that close rapport with the people. Now that we are out of COVID, we have an office day at the MP's office in Paget Main Road, but keeping these type of outreach exercises is also an important part of registration. So today, I visited several schools to talk to the SCA students this morning. I also had office day at the constituency office, and we are having this community meeting. So today, the entire day was dedicated to St. Augustine constituency, and I try to do that every week. So we are in Bamboo because there are quite a number of issues that I have made representation, and we have got feedback. All of the representatives at the table here has started to work on our issues, but I feel it's important for them to hear from you. So while we have the drainage division, we will look forward to some updates from you concerning the major water courses, the St. Joseph River, the Wyabal, the Caroni River, what's going on at the Caroni River mouth, what's happening with the banks. Of course, the floodgates, we want to make sure that they're in good condition, and the pumps are working. I know your minister is a very hard-working minister, and we want to be able to communicate at the political level. So, based on your feedback on the ground, we would like you to share with the audience an update on those matters, because the dry season is a time we have to address those issues. Bamboo has been traumatized by flood, people up to their window in flood water. And every rainy season, making sure that the floodgates, the river banks, and the pumps are working is critical to us. So I look forward to that. And the highways division, you two have been responsive, but we want to persons to give their concerns, because while I have had complaints about the grass cutting along the highways, we are at the intersection of by the Grand Bazaar there. So we have two highways meeting, and a number of our complaints do not fall under our councillor and our regional corporation, but falls to highways. So this is an open invitation for you to raise matters under the highways division. And we also, Bamboo has grown tremendously. Bamboo started as an agricultural area. Many of the occupants of land, whether it is residents or commercial, many occupants had an agricultural lease. And those big parcels of land were leased to people who were living here for agriculture. Later on, as times changed, Many of them left share of the land for their children. We have third generation bamboo residents living on lands that they do not have a title to. And I have raised this matter with Minister of Land and Legal Affairs, the Honorable Saddam Hussein, who was kind enough to send a representative. He sent 2 representatives from his office, his advisor, Mr. Lal, as well as Mr. Wallace, and the Commissioner of State Lands, because this issue is so critical. But I understand that there are legal complications. There are people who live there for a long time, people who built businesses, who built outside of what town and country can approve. They went too close to the road or too close to the drain. But I have people blocking up drains, people who build big warehouses, commercial entities, not residents. People who put pumps in drains, and we suffer with flooding so much. But if we have the documentation sorted out as to who owns what land, the corporation could have better guidelines in terms of enforcement. Too many times, Seema and I visit, we see a wall going up, we talking to the people, they go ahead and they build the wall like nobody could stop them. And then you know what? A year later, the wall fall down in the drain. And then we have to get a disaster unit and get excavator and all kind of thing to move it out. So the land issue and the issue of the tenure for those who are occupying the land, these are not squatters. These are people who had leases and had permission to occupy a long time ago. The bamboo masjid has also applied for part of the land that goes towards the highway, and I have sent that communication to the minister. So these are critical issues. I know it will take a little while, but I want you to hear from the residents about this. I will start on my left. Traffic wardens. Traffic wardens have responded to us in the past in terms of sending a traffic warden on the busy days along the Bamboo Main Road for the businesses where they are blocking traffic, right? But you see, this is more than about a convenience. It is also a safety matter. On a busy day to come in Bamboo or to come out of Bamboo, if you have a sick person in your car, they could die before they reach Mount Road. And this is the worrying thing. So while we want people to, of course, ply their trade and live it, we want them to do it in a law-abiding way. And so we have had the support of the traffic management. We are welcoming the ministry, so Commissioner from the state. Welcome to our meeting. Thank you so much for coming. So we are happy to have the traffic warden representative. The traffic management, particularly the parents of the school, have been making representation, which we have sent to traffic management. And they include a request for humps, and we approach the school, but they also want to make the road one way. And that, of course, requires input from residents. You see this fella here, this engineer man here, he does follow the rules. So it requires signatures to get humps, signatures, he has to do his data analysis to determine if the road could be one way. And we suggested the road to be one way, morning time when school started and evening time when school was. After that, it could be two way. But that is a real challenge, and people who go into work and so on also get caught in that traffic. So it is a suggestion, but we want to get the input of residents if we didn't have the opportunity before. While I had letters from the PTA had discussions, other residents may not have been engaged. And tonight I wanted to make your suggestions. We also had some other requests for humps in other parts of the Bamboo village. And this obtains the Bamboo 2 as well as Bamboo 3, because we do have residents of Bamboo 3 here. So we'll ask Mr. Figure to take notes of those things, and if you could expedite them, because I've been making these representations since before my party went into government. So perspective to throw letters in the dustbin or something. But we also have very important disaster. The Disaster Management Unit of the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government coordinates the disaster units in all the regional corporations. They are not ODPM. ODPM has different responsibilities. They are the first responders when we are on the ground. Since going there as a minister, now I have to admit, when I was in opposition, I still harassed Mr. Jerry David. He is the head disaster, he's head of the disaster unit. And a number of issues we identified. What we did was come up with recommendations out of it, not just to fix one problem, but policies that will be really effective throughout the country. Because what we face here, other communities face it too. We have in terms of the disaster equipment, we have distributed a lot of equipment to regional corporations. So they now have more pumps, power saws, power washers, wheelbarrows, shovels, so much more equipment that we give to every single corporation so that they'll be better equipped to respond to disasters. Because you see, Jerry said he's good at begging. In opposition, we had no choice but to beg. So we have two big beggars. And so we have been able to engage donations from private enterprises, international organizations, religious organizations who want to contribute to disaster relief. So we have restocked the warehouse, the headquarters warehouse, even though we gave out almost everything we had to the regional corporation. This never happened before. When I became minister, we trained over 300 community emergency response teams members. And you see that little fellow we call Mitra, he coordinates the search training. And so these teams are now in our communities helping us. And you have one very active team here in Bamboo. And there are so many other initiatives under disaster. I recently took to cabinet and noted to expand the disaster unit. Although the disaster unit have 3 people, officially 3 people. And the regional corporations, how much they have? They have 4. For an entire regional corporation, they have 4 people responsible for disaster. The head of the unit, a driver, a person to collect data.
2 field
So,
officers, 1
2 field officers, 1 communication officer, and the type. We now have the volunteers, 300 of them and more, that will add to that. But it is clear that we need to beef up our capacity. And so as minister, with working with Mr. Jerry David, we took that to cabinet. So across the country, we will have real disaster units. And while I know there will be other opportunities to talk about more things that we are doing at the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government, I felt it was important to share that with you this evening because you know that will benefit us because we have always been hit by disasters here in Central Austin constituency. So this meeting really is for you to talk. And when we have, you see where we're going to now the floor, I don't want all it to be shy. This is your meeting. Stand up and say your name. You can say where you're from, if you're from this bamboo or the next bamboo. But give your issue. It may be something we mentioned here, or it may be a new issue. If you have whatever the issue might be, you raise it. Whether it is, even if we don't have the representative here, we will just mention it briefly. So for instance, if you want to report a street light, we have a bamboo WhatsApp chat. Anybody here in the chat? Yes, most people are in the chat. So if you're not in the chat, you can join. And Sima and I are always responding to the chat. If you have a light pole number, light pole missing, street light not working, you need a new street light, to send us the light pole number and we deal with it. So if there's a matter that we don't have a representative for, you can feel free to stand up and mention it, so we'll take note of it. But we want to take the opportunity to really raise matters that pertain to the representatives here. And so I want to encourage you to be brief, to allow other people the chance to talk, but make sure and say your name and where you're from. But I thank you all for coming to this meeting. So the floor is now open. Will go first?
So, the floor is now open. Anyone wants to ask a question or have an issue, you can raise your hand.
Good evening, panel. Minister, it's a pleasure to have you here. Of one of the ministers that we recognize in the media to be very active. We are privileged to have you here. Thank you. I live in Bamboo number 1. My name is Nigel Bowen. I have 3 issues that I think need to be addressed. One of them being the floodgate. I do not know if the people responsible knows that the floodgate in Bamboo settlement number 1, where the pumps are, is leaking. That gate is a critical part of preventing floods in the community. That gate has a major leak. Our representative in that area, I have a message in a video showing him where the gate is leaking. And I did that video during that time there was a lot of rain, and it's impossible for the pumps to be trying to pump water out and the water is coming back in. It becomes like you're spinning top in mud. That's 1. 2, in Bamboo settlement number 1, Lower Burusoman Road, from where the box drains ends, between there to where the pumps are to the Caroni River, is about 400 to 500 meters. That area is blocked. It has not been cleaned. Now, normally, in January every year, our excavator will come and clean it. It has not happened this year. I spoke to Mr. Ahmed Sukman about it. His response was that the regional corporation said they have no money. Right? Now, this is also an additional major part of preventing flood in Bamboo.
Let's call the name of the road again for me.
Burusoman Road, Lower Burusoman Road. So the box drains ends there, but between there and where the pumps are, it's natural drainage. There's not no concrete drains. So it's overgrown.
Well, we do have our flood mitigation program. Councillor Ahmed did submit several roads. I can't say offhand if this was one. So I want to thank you for raising it. So with the disaster unit and we will work on having that water course cleared so the water will reach down to the pump.
Yes.
Right, and the issue of the pump, this falls under your district as well.
Yes, so that is major because if those drains are clean, the concrete drains can be all clean, that there's a blockage there when the rain starts.
Yeah.
And the third thing is there is an issue where the consistency, I don't know. I have a suggestion. From experience, I know that people who live in Bamboo tend to be affected by all these issues. It might be a good idea to recruit somebody that lives in the Bamboo area. They tend to give more attention and more precedence to when these issues happen. Because it's just a suggestion. Because I'm sure if I ask any one of you if you live in Bamboo, none of you from Bamboo. So you tend to find when there is somebody who lives in the community that has been affected, they are at risk of also being affected and they will be efficient in getting things done. Just my suggestion.
Okay, that suggestion to have pump attendants, especially pump attendants from Bamboo, has been addressed somewhat. So we do have pump attendants from Bamboo here now. What's his name? Right? Now, this gentleman is from Bamboo number 1. Bamboo number 1 does not fall in St. Augustine constituency, but the representatives for Drainage Central also represent your area. So they will allow them to raise to deal with the issue. And this is one of the reasons we have the community emergency response teams being trained. There are some people here from the CERT team for this area. Just show your hands. Just two of them yet, and oh, we have more of them. So this is a team of people who are trained in disaster response, who will coordinate with the different agencies so that when time of disaster, we should get things flowing better between different agencies. But we thank you so much, Mr. Owen, for raising the issue. Next person.
Do you have anyone else? Any questions, any concerns, any issue?
Good night, my name is Michelle Raguba. This is what the commissioner's statement is called. I have been writing 15 years now to the state plans about access to my home was blocked up and from Banco number 2 policy. Jaffa Street, family members blocked me. I wrote many occasions. The other road back and nothing has been done. I applied for a lease for that part of my houses. Nothing has been done. Recently I wrote a letter. I got no response. What can you, if anybody can help me on this incident, what's going on?
Ms. Sorry, Raghava? Yes, Ms. Raghava. You mentioned, of course, yes, in general, there has been several delays in addressing leases and so in Bamboo. Not that nothing has been done, but we have made some steps. But we always like you take 10 steps forward and 3 steps backward. So there are delays. But the key thing you mentioned is your relatives that have blocked. I cannot get into family business. We will try as best as possible to talk to family members. And that's one of the issues we really have why we have so many delays. There are lots of disputes. Yes.
My home is blocked. Every person should have access to their home. Okay, safe enough. So if I have a fire in my home, there's no thing to come to out of any fire or for me to get out properly. I don't have a driveway. Other family members come on that land, bulldoze our agriculture land when we're doing farming for plants. We also have a farm near chicken. We want to bulldoze that right now. Nothing has been done, and we did write to the Commissioner of State Lands already on this occasion and Ministry of Fisheries. Nothing has been done. Why am I waiting 15 years for something to be done? That is what I want to know.
And let me address that again. I just said that part of the land you chickens, you said?
Yes.
Okay, so finish what you're saying and then I'll
So these family members trying to own the entire land, what is one set of land, with families I was born and grew up there. They blocked me off. I don't have access to my home. But other people who come from Aruba, who bulldoze the fruit trees and everything, build a house, have driveway, using the road, and I am not getting access to the road. I think somebody should come and see what's going on. They put up an illegal gate, put up an illegal road sign. So something should be looked into about this. We can't have one set of people passing on it and I born and grew up there, have my home there for more than 20 years and nothing has been done. I just keep on writing letters and waiting when election time comes around. I mentioned it already to the councillors, and Ms. Khadijah, Amern, and nothing has been done for all these years. So I would like to see something take place and happen. That's what I would like to do and see.
Right, so I understand your frustration. If I was you, I'd be just as frustrated. But we have to remember all of Bamboo number 2, especially Bamboo number 2. Since the year 2000, it's no longer agriculture. And you just told me the chickens. There is no agricultural activity to be held in Bamboo number 2 since the year 2000. And we were well aware of that. You all would have seen, some of you residents would have seen me come to community meetings here in Bamboo. And you would have met me at the Land Management Division years ago when we indicated all of that. Now, what has happened? Yes, before the year 2000, your leases were agriculture. Most of the parcels are 1 acre. But when, and it's your decision to change the use from agriculture, so you're now residential, commercial, or industrial use, You petitioned us, it went to cabinet and cabinet agreed to that in the year 2003. So we have no more agricultural leases. The last agricultural lease expired last year, to be exact, 2025, and no more agricultural leases that will be given in Bangor. So I would suggest that you cease the chipping activity. However, what was also agreed upon by you all and by cabinet is that now that you've converted to residential and commercial, you don't need 1 acre parcels anymore, so you're supposed to subdivide according to residential or commercial, whatever you decide. In doing so, clearly access has to be given to all these subdivided parcels. But again, if you're experiencing your relatives obstructing you, then I cannot get into family business. The most I can do is, well, sometimes I can take down the gate, that is the offensive gate. But they'll come and put it back up 2-3 weeks after. So my advice to you is to take legal action against those who are blocking your path. Alright? But other than that, you will not be able to do chickens anymore.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the chicken, I'm talking about access to my. That is what
Yes.
Yeah.
So with access, we'll have to take legal action against you, the person sort of.
So you're not from the state or the tribal.
The state does not get into family matters like that.
But this is state land, so you're not from the.
That is true.
Yeah.
I'll say it last time, you need to take legal action, and once there's a court order, then I can enforce the court order. Yeah?
Given the advice of Ms. Drake's, Ms. Michelle, what I would like to do is to arrange for you to see an attorney to get some legal advice, some free legal advice. They will not charge you, because I know that this issue is very prevalent, and I understand your frustration because you can't get access to your parcel. And when you talk about subdividing, every parcel on that piece of land is supposed to have access. So a lot of families have put one roadway along the edge of the land that will allow everybody to be able to access. So that is what would probably be required there. But we will have to let you speak to an attorney. And of course, it's important for family members to understand because, well, let's let you speak to the attorney and all the documents, you send the letters and so on, you have. Work with them when we make the appointment for you, okay?
And we need a contact number for you. Michelle,
Michelle, before you leave, you see the fella in the white shirt there? He is an attorney. So give him your phone number and we'll make an appointment for you after the meeting.
anyone else?
Good night. I'm Starren Faria from Bamboo number 3. To the representatives on the head table, welcome. All protocols are observed. As the MP pointed out, there are numerous concerns within our constituency, within the Bamboo constituency. The highlight will be flooding, most definitely. We have a lot of challenges. We have no police officers here at that time, neither any little minutes. As those are issues, bullying issues also, crime and littering and stuff. First we start with the flooding issue, right? To the representative, must say I feel the work done in the bank this year are some of the best works I've seen for the longest while. Having said that, there are drains under the purview of the Ministry of Works and Transport that have to be cleaned numerous years. Such that there's the amount of slush and buildup we have within our drainage system to take us 4 probably 5 feet, some areas. As Councillor Seema pointed out, she spots clean. She cannot get access to certain areas. Added to that, Mr. Jerry, even the equipment cannot fit in the train. You have a bobcat, we need you have a tiger car, we need a bobcat to fit in the train. The train has been cleaned previously, so the equipment probably is available to probably do that sort of work, right? To the representative, transport, well, we have made some recommendations in the past considering, one-way streets in the area. The Bamboo One residents and Bamboo Tree residents, the issue down out and the top of Bamboo Boulevard, food area especially. There are hazards there that, endanger the public. Housing, God forbid, that lives. If an emergency vehicle has to pass through there at any time during the nights, they wouldn't be able. And every second comes, Mr. David, as you are well aware, as someone lost their property, and as I said, God forbid, loss of life, serious issue, serious hazard. So the little water person here, and the whole of Bamboo Boulevard. We have businesses there, and they just dump their stuff, and periodically they burn the stuff. We have our own area, the tiny cleaning of the area, it doesn't happen. And if the water does come up at any time, ends up back in the drainage system. It happens periodically. From time to time, the council is well aware, sent out many pictures, videos of stuff, people doing stuff. Also, Mr. David, if you remember me, I'm still certified with the MD councillor. There's an issue with the some. And if you recall, I had a meeting with you and Mr. Sherry Simon, but it was equipment available. Only when you came on board, the equipment was made available, pots and blankets, what have you, to the equip centers, such so that the our centers was equipped and television crew and stuff came in and it was outfitted. All the other shelters were outfitted after 30% of your empty your warehouse. Excellent of you. The problem now is that they like to get back the stuff, no problem. But John Public here would be, you know what they was in the government, what happens? Tend not to get it back. And I would recommend to you that you could probably send someone to probably import it. So the stuff is there for use, for future use in any event of a disaster. I mean, we are highly, we are not proactive by any means. We are trying to be proactive. We are a very reactive society. And since the teams are assist until the real professionals reach, but most of the time, you know what goes on. Basically, yes. Plans. I was in your office sometime a couple of years back. We found out information came to us, not via the ministry, but via some returning national. There was an increase in the cost of the properties across in Bamboo number 3. And there was no information given out. And we had to find out because someone, a returning national, came back and we found it that way. I actually went to your office and had a discussion with the legal affairs department. After having a discussion, I told them, well, I know, I'm going to put it up on the chat in Bamboo number 3, but actually, one of the chat will, the committees are joined in with a chat Bamboo 1, 2, and 3. And before I reach you, that phone was stating that no information is given to me, they give anyway. I said, well, I'm the representative for the area, and I have to give that information. So it will be good if anything that happens, the public is sensitized because an increase affects a lot of people. Some people aren't able. And then you raise the cost. Now they force with the government, now we can't afford at all. So just, we need to subsidize the public. So when I think, as I found out, there was some I know the cabinet minister 2018. The MPs aware. I went to her office. I spoke to Councillor Seymour also. And it would be good if you subsidize the public with those sort of issues.
Yeah.
Just well, as I said, we don't know this about this, no policy. So that's about it for me. Thank you.
And just before the next person comes up, I want to thank Councillor Tyrone. There are some of the issues that you raised that I want So we don't yet have a commitment, but I will be working with Minister to see if we could get it approved in one of the upcoming budgets, because I have other community centers that need care, but Bamboo Community Center is beyond repair. Bamboo 3 Community Center, the village council there have been so accommodating with activities throughout the constituency. They do a lot of training there as well, but I know that that is Bamboo 3 Community Center, and I want you all to have your own community center. The flood mitigation that Tyron mentioned, along the Grand Bazaar stretch there, the highway is the responsibility of Highways Division, and it drains along the highway from Grand Bazaar heading south. After Bamboo Boulevard, on Bamboo Boulevard, that drain leads down to the pump. You have a lot of silt and slush in that drain. I don't know what last they cleaned it. It hasn't been desilted in years. Every year? Alright, well,
This area.
well, I have a fella there stockpiling, I don't know what, a lot of dust and dirt. I don't know where they're bringing it from, if they're trying to pull up a parcel alarm or something, but a lot of it is going down in the drain. So if you make a little site visit, you can take a closer look, but you have a lot of silt in that drain, and that takes the water down to the pump. So people are a little worried when they see it filling up. And of course, the garbage from that area as well is going down the drain. So I asked if you can pay a little attention. But I wanted Ministry of Works to give an update on the current situation with the operations of the pumps and the repairs of the gates. Well,
Good evening, everyone. Minister, colleagues. Just give a brief update. Currently, Minister has covered that because I was just talking to our CTO about giving a general update in terms of our operations. So I'll try to be as brief and concise as possible. I know talking about 2018 and 2022 for about 2 residents and also some of the BAM 3 residents, even BAM 1, it would be very touchy and bring back for sad memories, I should say. However, I'm glad to say that we are trying our best to, to alleviate some of those issues. What have caused the flooding mainly was the contributing what causes like the Waba, the St. Joseph River, those rivers that would have which all falls into the Caribbean River. Because of the volume of water that the Caribbean now receives, based on the development that takes place around the Caribbean River and also as far east as possible, Caribbean River now takes up a large volume of water and pushes, and when it comes down, it now pushes the water up to these tributaries. What the Drainage Division has done is actually increase these embankments of the tributaries to the same level of the Caribbean River, in some places a bit higher. So to avoid the overtopping of these water courses, we also would have look at the infrastructure, meaning the gates. So on the Waba, we would have upgraded a number of gates. We put in a triple hydraulic structure there with flap gates. Those gates don't need manual operation. Those gates work with the different levels of water that comes in. There's also the Mohan Street floodgate. We would have upgraded that. In recent times, we would have upgraded the hosting circular structure. So in recent times, we also did works along the St. Joseph River. the pumps, right? We started a upgrade of these pumps. I know in 2022 again, the pumps were underwater. So we took the initiative to actually lift the pumps, right? Even though we are thinking confidently that we do not have a repeat of these two events, and that the pump would not have gotten flooded again. We still took the initiative to increase the height of the pumps, and also presently we are refurbished. I should say we bought, the ministry bought under mechanical services who are responsible for the maintenance and operation of the pumps. They would have bought a new pump there. So we have an additional pump that gives an approximate capacity of 10 gallons, 10,000 gallons per minute, right? Together with the previous pump that is now has been sort of doing some upgrades to that pump, right? The present pump, we are upgrading that pump. Now that being dry season, we're doing all this work so that when the rain comes, then we would have the works completed and install the pumps. So we will have two pumps there. So, but right now, even if we get some rainfall, we put in a mobile pumps. We have two pumps there that has the capacity of about 20,000 gallons per minute. That is in the Bamboo 2 area, right? So moving forward, we would love to give the comfort to the community, to yourselves, that while we cannot stop flooding in its entirety, given the geographical location that you're in, we would love to, ensure that we try to manage the flooding. In terms of the cleaning of the water courses, because the gentleman, he didn't really give too much detail as to the amount of drains that wasn't clean. I just wanted to put up plug in here. While we maybe drainage division doesn't have responsibility over all the drains within the community. We have drainage division responsible for natural water courses and rivers, right? I have been working with councillor for some time, and we always talk about, what I clean and what we always coordinate, right? So the water courses that drainage is responsible for, we tend to try our best. However, we have challenges. Challenges, the minister spoke about it. People building walls, not given access for us to come in with equipment, right? So sometimes we clean half of the water course, and drainage division does not have many water courses within Bamboo. We have two major water courses, right, that we generally clean. That's one from Mohan Street towards the pump, and there's one on the other side that is from Hussein Club towards the pump, right? All the other channels are what is considered as inflow drains, which falls under the responsibility of the regional corporation. And so when we clean our section, councillor tried to come in and do her part, and we assist when we can with our manual team that we have. One manual team that we have to clean all the Bamboo areas, right? So yeah, this is some of the activities. In Bamboo number 1, the gentleman spoke about the leaking floodgates. We are aware of that leaking floodgate. We have a project also to upgrade that site, and we are trying to get that floodgate addressed. That floodgate would have been a floodgate that was done previously to the one that we have right now, the major one that we have, and we know that it is leaking. Apparently, the initial design wasn't looked at properly. So when there's a volume of water within the current river, it pushes back on the structure and cause flooding. I think I would have touched on most of the things that were raised, and I would give it. Thank you.
I thank you very much for that comprehensive overview, because I know that we have been advocating for a lot of work, and that uncertainty, the trauma that people faced in those floods in 2022 to 2018. And I really appreciate you, because I wanted you to give you an opportunity to bring us up to date, because as MP, I communicate with them back and forth. SEMA is always communicating with the division, but we have some more collaborating to do, because I want to ensure that the drains that lead to the pumps and the gates are clear. Some of those drains fall under the drainage division and some fall under the local government. So Mr. Jerry David and I will work with SEMA to ensure that all those water courses are clear.
Sorry, MP, I just wanted to, the boulevard, the drain that leads to the pump. And I know you'd have mentioned that it's not clean right now, but what we do, and also, it's a challenge, especially with the number of businesses that are there. So we have to have the contractor come in on the weekend and bring in additional equipment to get it done as fast as possible. We also, which we don't really cater for, but we do in terms of slowing down the roads after, because it's a lot of coordinating that needs to take place to get the job done properly. In recent times also, we would have paved part of the that channel to allow for a greater flow of water into the channel. There's also a program to increase the paving straight up to the flyover, so that it will address the heavy siltation that takes place there on a regular basis. Thank you.
Okay, so, I'm sorry, if I could just get a moment, so, so what of highways contributes to the cleaning of the drains in this area. So there is, as Mr. Dick would have identified, that there are quite a bit of areas of cooperation. So for the major rivers such as the Samoa and the St. Joseph River, the highways division's remit is within the bounds of the bridge itself. So for the protection of the abutments, we do 50 meters before and after the bridges, and then drainage will take over their programs cleaning of the rivers. The highways division will also do the cleaning of all the underground culverts along CRH, so east and west of the Grand Bazaar intersection. I would also like to point out that the highways division's remit ends 50 meters beyond the end of the highway. Beyond that, we do not program clear any drains or passages beyond that. So if you say, okay, the highways company will clean up to here, well, actually that is our remit. We stop 50 meters beyond the highway. We have not started our program for this dry season, but we are engaged in currently hiring or engaging our contractors, so hopefully our program will start very soon. Thank you.
For the road verge from by the Canaan roundabout, heading west to by Grand Bazaar, at least I know they have the two sides of the highway, but this side is my side. So from that same south Bamboo going into Bamboo 3 along the highway there, and then heading west, going on parallel to the highway. Well, that piece they have between the highway and the Bamboo Boulevard number 3. So I know we just ask you to pay particular attention to that. And I thank you very much for your update. We have one thing I also want to remind you of. Some time ago, we had a big fire in Bamboo. 7 properties were burnt, and 7 businesses were out of earning. And during that time, we realized that there are challenges with our fire hydrants. Fire hydrants are not always the yellow thing you see coming off the ground. Sometimes the attachment for the hose is on the ground, but it's important for the fire services to maintain these, keep them clear, and for WASA to make sure that we have suitable water pressure. During that incident, there were complaints that the fire services took a bit long. There was some challenge with the valve. And then when they started work, the pressure wasn't what ideal for them to get the water. So they did correct it. But in a fire, in a few minutes' time, that makes a huge difference. So since in opposition, I've been writing to the agencies. WASA has completed the site visits and they have installed markers for new hydrants. So the fire services will be installing new hydrants in Bamboo number 2 shortly. So that is a very positive thing. At this time, I want to hand over to Mr. Adande Pigot because you have a request to make the block around the school one way. If you make Jafar Street alone one way, he will tell you the technical parts and the requirements for making street one way.
Hi, good afternoon again. Ideally, it's localized traffic, so I don't really have major issues with it, but challenge would be the residents themselves. Sometimes a few may want that one way and it will affect other people. So this is more getting community buy-in. It's a very good suggestion. It's normally done throughout the entire country. Roadways in the vicinity of schools, we know what takes place many times. And the schools will build, the infrastructure was not built suitable for drop-offs and those kind of things like that. You to pick up your charges as well. The parents come at a certain time and park on the roadway for when the charges come out of the school. And as a result of that, to reduce the capacity of the roadway. So it happens all over the country. So it's nothing unique. We do time-based one-way traffic. Personally, knowing how enforcement is in this country, I do not do time-based. But I know if it's fully one-way all the time of day, it will affect the residents. But for me, many times you don't get enforcement, so you have people breaking, and then you get head-on collisions at times because someone will be cheating. So when we're making these decisions, we also look at road safety. Because when you have one way, you have the probability of people increasing their speeds on the road network system, and it can also be a challenge. When I heard a member of parliament speaking about fire, I also want to remind that we do have a number of requests for speed humps, and I know that was also a request in some parts of fire continuously raise issues of the number of street humps in communities and slow down. It's easy for your car, but a fire tender will have a truck pump with gallons of water in the back. They have to take their time and it affects their response time when they are going to deal with this. But so you have to find a balance now. And everybody wants a street home in the areas. Some of the country that is speaking about here, we experience it, but other state agencies do have a chance. So we have to balance it. So even though, ideally, we can't address all of the concerns because it's a serious resource strain as well. But schools, school areas, recreation parks, major churches, talking about established churches, because people just go and rent somewhere. Nowadays, a church and fee that they're supposed to have a speed hump and that kind of infrastructure. But major established churches and those kind of things, we will consider to put that type of infrastructure. But generally, churches mustn't 100%. But religious institutions are in my bad. So that's the thinking. So I don't really have any real objections with the one way. But I just want to ensure that the entire community has no objection. That's why we like the petition. We okay with it. And when we put it in place, because we do it legally. What the point that was being raised about the boulevard, the reason why I asked for, let's engage the EPS first quickly, because it takes about 8 to 10 weeks to do the law to say that this roadway is one way or no parking and those kind of stuff. So to immediately get some relief, TPS has powers on section 66 where they can actually put their no parking, like order police commissioner. They can put that on the road immediately and do the enforcement as well. So if that was done, you see if there was any positive impact from that, then we need to do necessary legal notice for the code and no parking sign. I have no objections there because it really affected when we designed the interchange. All of those roads were taken into consideration and was supposed to help with the mobility for the entire interchange. So when those roadways are impacted negatively like that, affects what was designed and the shelf life of the interchange, right? So we didn't envisage that businesses will machine like that in such a big way. And now without parking, and now it's taking up the capacity of the roadway, which affects the mobility in the area. So having no parking sign is speaking to my ears, which I really wanted. But I know it's going to affect the businessmen who are there, who are operating there. And again, we want to have conflicts taking place because we know residents want it. I know if the businessmen are living in the area as well, that's the other thing. And if they're in the area, no, they're not. Since I'm educated. Oh, right. So that's where we have conflicts and stuff like that. But we try to minimize that. But those things I have no objection to because once you put the no parking restriction, and if we have the enforcement and the police cannot do any enforcement without law behind it. So we have to put the sign anyway, in the parking sign. If the residents realize that that's a solution, we have to put it, even though they may not get sustainable enforcement, but the 1 or 2 times they try to enforce in the area, residents will whoever patrons to these businesses will take heed upon it. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. For the few things that the member of parliament and also the council raised for the area, generally there's no objection by management, and we can put that in place.
Gary, I'm going to switch phones.
So on the topic of
Can you-
having one way, I
Can you
know
switch me to somebody else? Rajan? We have a small interruption there, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to reconnect pretty soon.
Sometimes it's silence.
Okay, we're going to go.
and then you come back out on the main. So that's the petition that was signed by the 100 parents. They will keep that.
Okay, you're back on the live. I don't know when he's dropping out again. So we're experiencing a little technical problems there, guys. We'll fix it pretty soon.
Not able to make a left on Jaffa Street to come in from the school because they will be going against the one. So the request is for Jaffa Street only to be.
Okay, Rajan, you're back on the live.
Other streets.
You're good.
But on Jaffa Street, will head south on Rattan Street. It does not prevent.
You're back on. You're back on.
Rattan Street from proceeding to that corner. Right? So we want to cause as least inconvenience as possible. Because if we put all the streets around here going one way, if you're coming from down to the end of Rattan Street.
Back on. We're not hearing anybody.
Street, you have to come up.
Something's wrong with the volume. The volume. Something's wrong with the volume.
And they wanted to go east both mornings and evenings.
Yes.
The traffic will head east, right? So that is what we're suggesting during traffic management. So we have another is to consider traffic management. Go ahead.
Good night, my name is Amern from Temple Street. The Minister will inform. Well, the two come back and talking about that for a long time now, 9 years. But having the two pump is not really much of a problem. And we pump operator, it's gravity. So, with the sense having two pump, we have to take care of the water. Okay, ship bamboo one. Yeah. Having the two pump is great, but the time the operator will come from Granby to Bamboo. I even try sending resumes because I have to get flood water in my yard before anybody in this village can get it. So the last time, for the last flood, my house was underwater. I lost everything. So I even the old man who does assist this village for the flood. But
Again, as I said, I empathize with all the community members. What has happened with, well, is that I think I mentioned it previously, the pumps are operated by mechanical service division, mechanical service division under the Ministry of Roads and Infrastructure. The operators, what I'm aware of on the ground is that they work in different areas. So even though the person may live in Granby, I'm not sure I can confirm that or deny, but the persons who are responsible in terms of supervision of the operation of the pump, what they do is if they cannot get, and that is probably something recent, because I think I have an idea exactly what you were talking about.
In the past, there would have been those challenges. But in recent times, what they do, they move around the operators when needed. So sometimes if the area, they have operators in Silat, they have operators in bamboo number 1. So what they do, they move around. In addition to which the supervisors themselves, they will come and start the pumps and make sure. Again, I want to say that given the amount of work that was done in recent times, the challenge that we would have faced in previous years in 2018, 2022, we are trusting that those things does not happen, and that the pump, when it goes on, it will be able to, take the amount of water. There's one other thing in terms of bamboo number 2, similar to what we did in bamboo number 3, paving the water course to allow a greater flow to the ponds, because what happens now with the earthen section, once the sump for the pump is dry, it starves the pump and you have to actually slow it down. Or sometimes come to a point where you have to shut off the pump and wait for the water to come down. So we have recommendations in place to pave that section from Temple Street to the pump to allow for water to flow quicker down to the pump to pull to get a greater and more effective operations at the pump.
So, Mr. Dick, while we appreciate your response, you see that concern that Avinash raised? For years, bamboo always have pump operators who live outside of the community. They don't even live somewhere close like Caroni or Spring Village. These people live in Granby. There's a father and son. I just be down there, I remember very late in the night, I just go to check on the pumps. And there's a father and son who works there. They work well, but they live Granby. And the time it will take in a time of emergency for them to reach here. That is what happened to us in 2022. By the time the flood attendants reach here, water done covering the place. You couldn't even see some people's yard. People, the boatmen were the ones carrying fuel in the boats. I mean, you all know what happened. So I am pleading with you, while I know it is not your responsibility to appoint the pump attendants to make these recommendations to your seniors, because I will be writing the Minister of Works to get a recommendation for a pump attendant who lives close by. We have nothing against people from Granby. That's not practical. You see what I'm saying? Everybody who lives in Lombard pump there, that is the lowest point in Bangor. And they just see water coming up and cannot do anything. So we can't continue to live in that fear. So we thank you for your update. I'm happy that all you're making part of the Drainway pump. Jerry?
Jerry, resident of Bamboo, regarding the flood, right, we have to take into consideration that all Palestine water comes into Bamboo to reach the pump. So by the time this guy reaches on Grandy to here, all Palestine water in Bamboo, it's Avinash is flood out. And it's not fair to him. So something needs to be done about that. Also, Bamboo too is sort of both sides. In fact, long ago we used to call it up the road and down the road. So now we call it east and west. The water on one street don't get any pump. So we want to suggest that two pumps should be erected on one street by the sluice gate, because the sluice gate was done a very good job last year. That the water by the pump is almost about 3 feet below the level of where it runs out. And water, we all know water rise level. So the water is not running out properly. And it's back up way back to Jaffa Street. I've been talking to Simon about getting that drain through where all the water from Balasan didn't come down in. So a pump at Bam at Mohan Street should be essential as a resident. Also, regarding the traffic management, I know it's too much to talk about here, is it possible that we have a group that we could discuss traffic management properly? In those areas that we will affect, they don't become troublesome. We don't affect anybody, we find a positive solution because there are a lot of very young entrepreneurs in bamboo who own business. I mean, I'm glad that they all progressive, but we want to do it in a nice manner. We don't affect anybody. We want the bamboo's like I don't want to paint that picture as like a piano. We villagers are the white nerves, the black nerves are the business nerves. We don't want to fight, we want a good tune. If you play the white nerves song, you will get a good song. If you play the black song, you will get a good song either. You need both. Bamboo need both to work together to get a solution because it affects all of us. So if we can meet and some get a pressure group maybe that come together, 5, 6, whatever, and discuss it and find a decent solution.
Well, I think, Mr. Jerry, what you're talking about is for us to have consultation with the bamboo business owners concerning the traffic challenges here and have representatives of traffic management and maybe even the traffic warden chief. Because you are right, we don't want to hamper people's businesses. And we want, but at the same time, if we put no parking signs there, that might be a little too drastic. Because if we prevent people from parking, that means where the customers go in, or if we restrict parking on one side of the road, we have to look at options. So I am very receptive to facilitating a meeting with the business owners in Bamboo too, and the authorities who deal with traffic. We may have a representative of the TTPS, the traffic management, and the traffic wardens to discuss the options with them so that it doesn't impose on them making a living, but at the same time, you have some lawfulness with the parking and residents are not as affected. So if you are willing to facilitate that, or we have any business owners in the audience who would like to coordinate, we don't have to meet with all the business owners, but if we have some people who are spokespersons who can make recommendations on behalf of the group, we can work and then we can have a meeting with more and more business owners. Okay?
Minister, I have another resident who wants to make a contribution.
Good night, Minister Amern and members of the panel, everyone who's here tonight. Pleasant good night. My name is Kevin Guru. I am the president of the Farmers Association for this area. And for the past couple of years, we have had some problems with the garden section routine with flooding and also the floodgates. One is legal at 30% capacity. Once it closed, so what is done? That's we start the first one, that's across in the agricultural section at Wireball. I've been from the past 22 years.
This is on the Wireball?
Yeah.
On the eastern side of the southern main road?
No.
On the new side?
No, when you go down to the end of Bamboo Main Road, you cross the bridge. Yeah. Wireball River is on the right hand side and Carney River is on the left hand side. So it's like a slice of pizza if you really check it from a bird's eye view. And what happened on the river bank on the rice field from Carney to Wireball, it's every year it keeps on going down and down because water crosses it and comes in. So I have like sometimes 8 feet of water, 9 feet of water in my garden. So I use every single day. And it's really hard to start over because then it's a 6-month period with the rain season coming in. So I can't cultivate in rain time because there's constant flooding. Another thing is the maintenance of the roads. There's a lot of potholes. So farmers have it really hard to bring their produce out. Another thing is dumping of the garbage. Now for the past couple of weeks, the farmers got together and we decided to come together and try to get things done on our own. So we taking out money from our pockets and we trying to put up a gate. We getting things passed with Ministry of Agriculture. Farm Road and is in a video, so she's good communication. I have a meeting with her tomorrow morning as well. So she's coming to see what's being done. We have the cameras, but that's out of our pockets because we have been from the ministry for the past couple of years to really do that. I had to get a second job to keep up when I lost my crops. So there was some stolen vehicles that was in back there as well for the past couple months last year or so. Get by. It's getting by. So all these things is basically what is the problem. The major is the flooding, just the cleaning and maintenance of the roads and the drains as well. And that's basically it. So thanks.
Kevin, I've known you to be a farmer for many years. I want to thank you for your recommendations and suggestions. While we don't have a representative of the Ministry of Agriculture here, I have taken the notes because I have been sending agriculture access roads and floodgates to the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries to be repaired. And we also have the representatives of the Ministry of Land and Legal Affairs here. So I thank you very much for bringing forward your concerns.
I have another one.
We have a paper going on for people to put their name and phone number. Yeah. I want to make sure, Kevin, could you make sure your name and phone number is on that clipboard. Make sure your phone number is there. Because we need to talk about the how they're scrapping vehicles down there. Strangers just come and carry vehicles down there to scrap. And there's a procedure for putting a gate for some of these lonely routes. But we have to get TDPS approval, other approvals. So I would want to talk to you about that.
Good night, Minister. My name is Ken Dalton. I'm a civil engineer. In 2013, 2014, Barwood number 3 had a serious problem, and the Drainage Division contacted me to take a look at it. And I also own like 9 industrial designs. A lot of it is geared towards flood mitigation. So in 2013 and 2014, I implemented 2 of my designs for the Ministry of Works and Transport Drainage Division in Barwood number 3. Most of you guys are probably aware of it. You probably read it in the news. For those of you who live in Barwood number 3, where's Tyrone? Tyrone here? Tyrone? How's those guys working? Good?
First couple of years, excellent.
Did you say that?
Excellent. Yeah.
Well, first couple of years, it worked excellent. The system worked excellent. You know, even the maintenance of it and stuff. Thank you very much. So one of the problems there is they had a sluice gate, and because of the pressure head from the St. Joseph River, that sluice gate didn't handle that pressure, and it leaked, and it flooded the entire area. Right? On one end, you have the pump at the highway, and you have a 2D trash rack. And that trash rack will be constricted with garbage because the garbage load is tremendous here. So you have water entering through the sluice gate, flooding bamboo, lower bamboo, and then you have a constriction at the pump. So when the pump finally gets recharged, it will start lifting the water back into the river and it's re-entering through the sluice gate. So it's like a dog trying to catch its tail. And the gentleman in Barwood number 1, I think he mentioned the same situation, which is typical. You give a floodgate, and then the pump is trying to pump the water out. So it's basically trying to pump a river. So we saw that in Barwood number 3 using 2 industrial designs, and the Ministry of Drainage Division contacted me to address that. However, I've been working with an NGO here locally in Barwood number 2, Marissa Bodu, and her team, and we've been looking at the drains. A lot of silt, a lot of garbage, still legitimate garbage there. There's an issue with garbage collection. I spoke to the operator there and he said that the ministry would be ready to pick up the garbage, and other than that, you have to burn it, which is an environmental problem. So, there's a lot of work that needs to get done here. We have any concerns, and we are working to address that. However, I need to get the Ministry of Drainage to maintain the structures I built in Barwood number 3. So it hasn't been maintained in 13 years, and it's still functioning. No, it's still functioning properly, but I need to go in and maintain it, right? Yeah, so, other than that, Mr. Piggott, it's good to see you and we community developed online. Would you want to look at a traffic simulation of this? Because there's a lot of stuff happening in traffic.
So I would love you to be part of that, because we want to get the businessmen, traffic management, and
Sure. Yeah, I think the way to go is get the new design capacity and then we run a traffic simulation because there's parking, you can manipulate that and see how the flows will be, you know. Because again, there's a response time and stuff here. So a traffic simulation will be nice. But good to see it. Thank you very much.
thank you so much.
Hi, good night. My name is Khadijah. I'm not from the Bamboo area, I'm from the Tunapuna area, but I think it was within the Senegal State constituency, south of the main road. Right. We have a situation that is developing a drainage problem in El Dorado. That's the main drain that takes the water, whole catchment area of the El Dorado area, coming down. That drain passes by KFC and cooperative. If you know the area, the drain passes between the cooperative compound and KFC in El Dorado. And it goes south. Just as it crosses the main road, the whole drain has started to collapse. There are big trees and so forth on the residences south of that main road. That is a disaster going to happen soon. The water is eroding the land. There's a whole degradation taking place now. The drain is no longer a drain, it's a river now. Eating away all the land and residences are being affected. I have some pictures that I took and I did a correspondence so they can follow up on it. We can meet if you need to, but we would really like to get at this. We had done some representation to the regional corporation some time ago, and this is the Ministry of Works from after, because it is a main water course, taking the whole of the Cora area, all the housing development that is taking place up Cora. When I say up Cora, just up Cora, there's some development taking place, housing development, and there's a lot of water coming out here. So if you all could indulge, I know it's a bamboo thing, but I hope you could indulge me here. Right? Thank you.
No problem, Mr. Rajan. Sorry, Mr. Hollis. Hollis. I'm so happy to see you here. I know you in another capacity. You have been a servant of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and I thank you very much for coming to raise your concerns here. Mr. Lala is a retired now, I don't say. He's a retired fire officer. For many years, he served at the Tunapuna station and was always very responsive, even to give advice, even concerning so many communities in our area. And I know you're retired now, but you still might need the advice again for other things. So I'm happy you're here. The Eastern Main Road falls under the Highways Division. So I know our representative of Highways has stepped away from the table. I don't know if you heard that. So we, if you could give him a little input, because that is helpful to all along the Eastern Main Road and even the Southern Main Road, where there's a bridge. If the bridge is collapsed and the bridge falls under the Highways Division. So if you could give him some information to guide him. And I would like to arrange a site visit with the Highways Division and Mr. Lala, so we can have a look. He has some photographs, but we can have a look at what's happening with the bridge to make some recommendations.
Right, well, I can't give any clear information right now because I have to see the situation as it reported. So you can give us this information at the end of this session here and have somebody coordinate a site visit so we can take a look at it and make some recommendations or expand the program to address it.
Yeah, I have a quick one in the previous one.
Yeah, okay, that'll be great, thank you.
Victor, your phone number is on that, right? All right, so, go ahead.
Hi, good night, everyone. On behalf of Parliament, Mr. Augustine, Ms. Khadijah, at table. This is my first of commentary meeting like this, and so I took the bamboo chat, and I took the opportunity. Then I thought I'm supposed to wait till you guys come and our bamboo, which is number 3. So then I said, well, I'll go with it. Taking the opportunity as I get in it here. Now, in bamboo number 3, I have such with Mr. Richmond, right? I've been a resident of Bamboo since I was 1. Mr. Man, well, I'm a neighbor of Mr. Tirande. I punch him like a kind of superhero. Together with Miss Simani Village, the real old school con. So I'm a little bit nervous in this platform, but I've noticed some things happening in my village. I heard the engineer speak here just now. And something I have noticed as a villager, the village has become very commercialized now, with a lot of businesses on the boulevard. And we welcome that, as the man draw here, reference the black and white piano keyboard. We understand everybody had to survive out here. But these businesses have caused some serious backlash on the residents. Whereas the same thing with Simai carriage drain, they clean it. And I hear somebody talk something about fire hydrant coming in this bamboo. It have a businessman build over a fire hydrant and we bamboo. And up to now, he famous. And nobody can do nothing. He take a whole load from the village. You government is power, see a set of months gone, nothing happening. I make out nobody, I just stated the facts here. Right, this man has built a drain on Lower and Northern Avenue, covering the whole drain where corporation can clean it. And now the water can run out, and every time rain fall in our village, all our water just come down at the Lower and Northern Avenue, cannot reach out on the Boulevard main drain. Because once that main drain flood with the amount of water coming out from the new highway, and it go down in that big drain there, that water coming out from the inner Lower Northern Avenue cannot get lower than that river, that main drain. So that's right. So now we have to suffer in the back of the village until that pump was in pumping properly. In my time, that pump used to reach where that man stand up in the back there. Right now, the capacity is to push per gallon. Or the pump dropping by Mr. Tirande. So I was thinking to go and buy a little 4-inch pump to help keep. Right? And all the businessmen come and cause all that drama in the village. And I was willing to contribute a little change to come up with the villagers. But everybody under pressure to help yourself to get the water out. And it's pressure with that. So I don't know, Mr. Engineer, if you can look back at that to help me to get that water out from Lower Northern Avenue, if you had to pump it into that big drain to get it out. And what has happened now for the roads now, most of the roads and the side street and the lower end of Northern Avenue has dilapidated. I just pick up all the sand in the road and carry it to my garage and then borrow it out back and throw it in the road. Every day, me and my wife are in the street and shoveling dirt because all the roads turn to mud now. All the pitch disappear, but actually the pitch in the drain, and nobody cleaning it. Right? Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know if voice in my opinion here, and the pain at villagers, as you man I believe come from the inner Lower Northern Avenue in the back road because they fell. I take the opportunity to come out and voice myself in a peaceful way and beg the people in authority to do the job properly. Right? Because we pay taxes, everybody don't have to go in. We obey the law, we're trying to live in a modern civil society where everybody can voice their opinion and I mean I lived there my whole life and recently, Mr. Kiran, it's over 10 years now, this things that happened before we never used to get flood. We never used to get flood, and all of a sudden, all this flood. If we get one solid rain, Messi man, that water passing me and going up here, all inside my mother house. We abandoned the house and built a new house because that house has rain for a year in that house. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, I go and break the house. Right? But if proper things was done, all our investment was spent over that seed. And every single villager on the lower end and northern avenue, if you get 24 hours non-stop rain tonight, we call it 5 in the morning. Right? The pump failure, pump the water properly, and then we water in northern avenue cannot reach out. So you shift it now, no time running, traffic management now. It's the worst outside by Gambazari. You can't get in, you can't get out. I don't know what to do in front of you. People can raise the suggestions, I don't know. And when they say, well, I had a dump in front and come through the back, well, there's lakes are in the back there. Carmen's crafting car on the pavement up to this evening. A man packing a 40-foot container in a main road, they came out from behind the road, up at the top of Northern Avenue, and put it on the track. For weeks. A 40-foot container packed up there, and if you're coming out in the back there, you're hope now, a man and lick you coming down from there. People and all the drama, and I sure it have people Northern Avenue on top. Right? That businessman up there again. Right? And then the whole of that Northern Avenue now is like, I don't know Zambians, they're walking and trying to get out, but I know driving on that street as the. You have to duck this man, duck that man, stop, reverse, real drama. Right? Same thing with some businesses, and then people just parking their car and leaving it. Right? So I don't know if something could be done about that. And I want to say, I guess somebody else might, because everybody want to get across it, people are not working anymore, right? So I thank everyone for giving me the 5 minutes for starting here. Thank you for organizing the 2 minutes and all the best to everyone. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Bridgman, it sounds like it's the first time you talk at a meeting like this, so I want to commend you and thank you for bringing your concerns forward. Initially, this meeting was requested by the people from Bamboo too, but because the issues intertwined, the traffic management, the drainage issues, we felt it was best to invite both Bamboo 2 and Bamboo 3. So by all means, your comments are not out of place. We thank you for coming. I know with regards to that situation at the end of Northern Avenue, anytime it rains, me and Simon have been down there, that area to the end of Northern Avenue into Sally Drive and so on. So I feel you where that is concerned. I have not seen a feasible solution yet. Finish? We have to look at something, right? So we will have to have a little collaboration with drainage on that. The Bamboo will look at traffic, well, fellas, we have to come up with a recommendation.
No parking sign there, there's nobody enforcing. What's that? A man will have to post around that.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Can I now, a big issue has to do with the land in Bamboo. And I want to give the opportunity to the Commissioner of State Lands to give us an update on the land situation releases. So I hand over.
Thank you and good evening again. I just want to explain a few critical points to you so that you understand how we or you choose to move forward. The choice is yours now as to how we move forward. So as I said earlier, initially we had most of us having 1 acre agricultural parcels, and all those agricultural leases have now expired. So we are moving forward, not just renewing any agriculture, except for I'm not talking about the farming part on the southern side. That all those areas close to the rivers remain agricultural. Yeah, so south of Depot Street and so agriculture. obvious reasons. We just talked about the flooding and so on. Yes, and that is what was agreed by Cabinet in 2003. So everybody in this northern area, you now moving forward as new residential or commercial or residential commercial or industrial leases. Yes, and so I'm just going to explain to you the difference between those so that you can understand. So first and foremost, we attempted a survey of the entire bamboo number 2. Now, bamboo number 3 is not under my portfolio. Bamboo number 3 is HDC and LSC. Yes, they go by that, not me. So I'm talking about bamboo number 2 now. So we attempted what we call a block survey to do the entire bamboo 2 in order to change it as was agreed from agricultural to the other uses. Now understand that 2 things I must get approval from Common Country Planning Division for. Right? So we call it TCPD. A change of use, which they already agreed to in 2003, I have that in writing. And the second thing I must get approval from TCPD for is subdivision. If they deny a subdivision, I can't subdivide. So what you're going forward with now is subdivision, essentially. I don't think you want your whole 1 acre to remain residential. There's a cost to that. Your rent on the agricultural is small. You all remember, right? Really small. Residential rents are not small. So if you choose to convert your 1 acre to residential, well, let's say you'll have to show me some bank details. It is going to be expensive. So you cut up your 1 acre into, let's say, residential parcels now. In principle, an acre to give you 8 lots, as people call it. But there's no maximum size for residential parcel. There is a minimum from TCPD, which we almost 5,000 square feet. And we tend to call 5,000 square feet a lot. But there's no real measurement for a lot. So we say a parcel, right? So they put it up to the 6,000 square feet, 7,500, whatever. But remember, the rent will be according to the size. Yes? Sorry. You subdivide it, you have to put an access way, as we just explained, so that each of the parcels must have a proper access. That's TCPD rules as well. No access, no parcel. How wide is your access? Now, normally, a road like Jaffa would be about 10 meters wide, 33 feet. You don't have to put it so wide. But I think they wouldn't go lower or narrower than 7.5 meters. Right? So because remember, an emergency vehicle has to be able to get in down that access to get to the last person in event of an emergency. So just think how wide a fire tender is. And that will turn around at the end. Right? So leave space for the access. So most likely, if you're breaking up your 1 acre parcel, you might get 6 or 7 parcels residential. Okay, so a residential parcel must only have 1 dwelling house on it. 1. If you decide to build a house and rent out part, like you put 2 apartments downstairs, that's no longer a residential parcel by us. We now have a residential commercial, and we will charge accordingly. Commercial being the key word. So a residential parcel must have only 1 dwelling house. Yeah? If it's anything like apartments, even if it's 1 apartment for rent, we will charge you at residential commercial rate. Okay, so you understand that so far? Right. A commercial parcel could be any size as well. However, just as we explained here, we have all the issues as to the parking and when because of the business activities. Really, you're supposed to allow for some parking on the parcel and not having customers park in the road. So Amern country, if you haven't built the commercial structure yet, Amern country is going to insist that you leave a certain number of parking spaces on the parcel. Yeah, so be mindful if you're doing that. If you already have it constructed, well, they may accept it, but remember it's according to what town and country accepts. Industrial is when you're doing heavy duty stuff. So that will be the highest rent, that will be paid. Yes? Great. So what you're supposed to do now, because we're all going to new leases, what you are required to do, get an answer there to redefine, determine that, redefine your 1 acre parcel, the original 1 acre parcel, and subdivide it according to your wishes. Whether you want 2 residential, 3 commercial, whatever fits on that 1 acre. Or where's your access fee? What you will do is come to my office and say, Commissioner, I want to break up my 1 acre parcel into 3 residential, 2 commercial, whatever. Here is my proposed survey plan. I will give the land surveyor the instructions to take it to town and country for approval. So the land surveyor does that part between town and country. Right? But town and country will say, change this, change that, change this with me. When town country approves that proposed subdivision, they'll stamp it and so on, and it will come back to me. Then we move forward with the leases. Yes? So your 1 acre parcel, my original parcel, might generate 3 or 4 or 5 leases according to what you want. So that's where you are now. The ball is in your court. You tell me what you want, come to me first with the land surveyor's name so that I can put in the instructions, so that when it reaches by town country, because town country look at it and say, this is state land. Did you get permission from the commission? All I do is just stamp the plan and sign it. Right? So that tells town country, yes, I know that this is what you intend to do. And once you've done that, and like I say, if you get a town country approval, we are moving forward to leases. The one caveat, as we had earlier, family disputes. I cannot solve them for you. Right? And the Attorney General has given me legal advice, stay away from family disputes. Family disputed and fighting and saying, no, I want 2 acres and I want this and I want that. And solve that in the courts, please, and just come and give me the court. I don't obey the court order. But I am not to get involved in family disputes, and that's what delays a lot of cases. Yeah? So you please, as a family, get together, if possible, make a decision. But I cannot help you if there are family disputes. It will just drag out the process. Yes? Now, we may be aware that the original tenants might be Granddad and Grandma, and they're probably no longer around. But I have the names of the original tenants. So the only other thing you have to prove to me is that you're a related to that person. Yes? So those are the main rules when it comes to getting the leases. But I'm ready to move forward with new leases, residential, or residential commercial, or commercial industrial.
Thank you so much, Madam Commissioner. Ms. Drakes, your information here has really shed a lot of light. So now residents have a better idea in terms of what the process will be, and that how important it is to have family agreement, because many of those large agricultural plots have been unofficially subdivided amongst the children of the deceased, the original leaseholder. So we appreciate you. So now residents, you know what the procedure will be. If you need further guidance, of course, reach out to my office so that we can make arrangements for you to get. You know what I think we should do? Let's put a step-by-step in writing guidelines so we can share it with residents without misinterpreting and giving them bad information. So I would like to make that request on behalf of the residents. If you can supply the Office of the Member of Parliament with a step-by-step process that residents in Bamboo should follow to go about the process of getting their land officially subdivided and their leases issued. Thank you so much. We still have a situation where we have some persons who were farmers originally, and then the land confusion affected them. And I suppose the suggestion at that time, that was way before my time, was that those persons should be relocated to agricultural land because they were on agricultural land, practicing agriculture, and the land use changed. So that is something that we will have to deal with on an individual basis. And I know too that there are some other land matters beyond the family disputes that would require a case-by-case resolution. So we will remain available to facilitate any discussions with you. But this land issue has been a ruling issue for decades. So I'm very happy for you to provide that information. I want to ask Mr. Traffic Warden. After all that you have, sorry, Jerry, yes, I should allow questions for Ms. Drake at this time. Anything concerning land?
You mentioned there's a cost. Is there a table with the price or how does that work?
No, again, a lot of the transactions don't take place at my office. So we have a valuations division, the commissioner valuations, and they will determine the rates. But in general, I could just give you some ballpark figures of what obtains now, right? I don't know what figures they will come up with you, but what I see of recently, so agricultural, so for those still in the south of Temple Street and so on, it's usually about $500 per acre, per year. Right? That's the kind of agriculture. That's agriculture. So now we come to residential. What I'm seeing, about $1,500 to $2,000 per year. Right. Assuming a 5,000 square foot parcel. Yes, the bigger the parcel, I have seen some go up to $5,000 a year. That's what I'm seeing now. Because, no, that's residential. Because I remember as time goes by, values increase. They don't ever go down, really. Yes? Especially since you all will have residential parcels. Most of the commercial business. When the parcel in a residential is in an urbanized area, you would pay more. Yeah? So the values have naturally increased because of how we have occupied the land. Industrial leases, top of the scale, you're talking sometimes $80,000 a year. How much? About $80,000 a year, industrial. Yes? So commercials will normally be in the $15,000 to $13,000 a year. Yes? So be careful. I think a lot of people want to have land security. There are people who say they don't mind paying to get their surveys, paying to get their paying for their land, but they want to have some kind of security of tenure. And for businesses as well, it affects their business in terms of their ability to go to the bank, to do improvement to their structure, and so on. Any more questions concerning the land?
Also, I suggest that you have to tie service to this fee. Because when you have a property that, a rental property that the truck can't get in. So all these things should be taken into consideration.
Let me really say part of it. Condition to get approval from town and country is access. So if you have a big parcel that you are subdividing, you must show a roadway that will allow access for every parcel when you subdivide it. And that will provide, as she indicated, for emergency vehicles and garbage trucks and any kind of service oriented, including public utilities and so on.
My situation is natural road. One street has trucks parked up and garbage truck can't get in because the trucks and others parked up. And
a different situation.
It's because done working. You know?
Right, so that wouldn't be a matter for the commissioner, because the commissioner of state lands, town and country planning would want to ensure that the roads could have the capacity for vehicles to come in. When other people park vehicles, some of it is not illegal parking, but it inconveniences their neighbors. The vehicle there for days on end. It's an inconvenience, but sometimes in terms of the garbage truck coming and so on. So we appreciate you raising that, right? Anything else concerning the land and uses?
Good night, everybody. I live at Kimansha. I understand everything that the minister said. My name is Ali. Right? But I requested like some water on my property. I will send my TNT to you in San Juan. Alright? I did the forms. It's about 3 years now. I did the forms. I went through all the procedures. And Sylvia came, Sylvia Glan, the officer from your office came and make sure and reached the river bank, no drain, locks, no road, everything like this. And they told me that to go back for the letter, to take the TNT, the permission to put the electricity on. And when I went back there, somebody in the office told me that I have to reapply. After getting all this done, they told me I reapply. So I want to know what is from there.
Okay, so question, did you subdivide the land yet?
My dad, there's 4 children my dad have, and he gave, but I think this one that he gave me a spot on the land. The Silvera came and
Right, and you brought that survey plan at that time?
the Silvera submitted to the office. I have a copy as well.
Right, but was it approved by Town Country? Right, and that's their next problem. And that's what I just said. It must be stamped and signed by the Commissioner of State Lands. The survey plan. Once you do your subdivision, please. Right, so if it was not an approved survey plan, the Commissioner, yeah, he might have brought it, but when he brings it, as I said, now I stamp and sign it and send it to Town and Country. Because if it's not Town and Country, will say it's not a bona fide parcel because they have not approved it. And so I can't give you electricity and water on a parcel that's not bona fide. Yeah, so if you still have it, just ask him to bring it back or you bring it back and what I stamp and sign it and then give the survey instructions to take it down to Town and Country for the subdivision. Once Town and Country approves, you get your light and water.
So he wouldn't run into a problem where his surveyor is too outdated or anything, right? All right. Well, Mr. Israel is a very young and ambitious gentleman resident of Bamboo. They are trying to do things right. We do have a number of persons who have been asking for this non-objection letter. He lived there, his father lived on the land, he born and grew there. And for him to get an electricity connection, he has been years up and down. So we'll work with him, but it applies to other people as well.
Just one more thing. This Silvera was sent by your offices, that friends.
No, and again, as you said, in 2013 or so, around that time, we did attempt, the state attempted to survey on your behalf. That did not work out well. I don't think the state was able to finish any survey. Right? But that's what I'm saying. If you have, are you still in contact with the surveyor?
Yeah.
Right. So if you have it, just bring it to me again. We will stamp it and sign it because we would have known of that surveyor. He was given instruction. But this time is to take it to Town and Country.
And you send it to Town.
No, it's surveyor. So I stamp and sign the survey plan, and I give you a letter. Well, the surveyor, the director of Town and Country, please accept this subdivision from surveyor XYZ for approval for subdivision.
But knowing Israel, I know you're going up there Monday morning. All right. So are there any more questions concerning land situation? So I want to ask the traffic wardens representative to give us a few comments. I know all the concerns we have here, you cannot provide us with a decision and a solution right now. So if we could just give some general comments, because some of these things, the higher authorities, the chief traffic warden and the minister of transport will have to adjudicate on. So for now, we just appreciate your comments on all the concerns you heard tonight.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen, and good night
to the Honorable Minister and the head table. To the concerns that were raised here tonight, I have taken note and carried back to the relevant person in charge, have them look at it, have a discussion, and let them make the necessary relevant information that they can pass on to us. And at some point in time, we can come and visit and give a feedback or give some sort of response to what was given here. However, I would like people to know that if you need to get in touch with the Chief Traffic Warden, there is an email for him, which I think I can give you the email, so you can email him, and your response as well can still be addressed. So if you're interested, it's nowt.gov.tt. You can reach our office number at 612-0261. It's in the code. That's our head office. Regarding the, I know in this area we are aware, because we've been here from time to time, of the parking situation and restrictions on the traffic. And it is not an overnight thing to get solved. And the heads, they do meet, they do have concerns. And from there, what I'll say, when they do the necessary collaboration with the traffic management branch and Mr. Pigot, we will get a feedback and we will use whatever situation they have put in place to see how it can alleviate the problem. So tonight, what I can say here, I'll carry back your concerns and let the person in charge have a discussion with Mr. Pigot and the minister, and from there, let's see what the outcome of the response will be. Thank you.
Well, for now, we would also like you to carry back, while we appreciate the patrols by the litter wardens during the day on the Bamboo #2 main road. We need to have the patrols more regularly. They do come from time to time, but we need to have them more regularly, not to prevent people from going and buy parts, but just so that it will be orderly and we will not block the roadway. Because we don't have, no parking signs, and a lot of those businesses started up before they were told to have proper parking space. The newer buildings have parking, but we don't want to clamp down on people making a living. So if you have the traffic wardens come, just to make sure the traffic flowing smoothly, and also make a request for some nighttime traffic wardens.
With regard to that, ma'am, what I would say, as the Honorable Minister to your colleague, it will have carry more weight than me, right? But there are some things that will need to be done, and I think that can be trashed out by you. But regards to the patrols, that I can carry back to my boss, and he can see what can be done with us in the quickest space of time, right? So I will shoot that to him tomorrow. Please go up and go into his office and have a chat with him.
Now, our ministers, Minister Eli Sato, who is the Minister of Transport, he is a man that's reaching the office 5 a.m. He is a very diligent person. He listens to his heads. So Mr. Pigot falls under him, you guys fall under him. Your recommendations, because you are in the field and you have that experience, is very valuable. So while I will talk to the minister about the nighttime patrols, I think it's important for you to raise this with your chief traffic warden, and you guys can put your thoughts on that to minister. So by the time I as a minister make that request, you guys will have your recommendations on it, the positive, the negatives, and so on. So we have to attack it from two sides. Because if I make the request, they will still have to come to all the recommendations. So we always ask the technical people to make their recommendations to facilitate us, right? So we want to close off at this time, but I still want to ask if you have any more questions. Right. And I want to tell you that these meetings will be a regular thing. I have office days in the ministry, in the MP's office, when people can make appointments and come one-on-one if you want to have a private discussion. But these community discussions will have more meetings like this in other parts of the constituency. I have been working with several ministers because when you bring complaints to me and I take it to ministers, so we have updates. One example is the Ministry of Land and Legal Affairs, where I went to Saddam because the whole of St. Augustine South, from Bamboo 3, Bamboo 2, Spring Village, Bamboo 1 is St. Joseph constituency, Spring Village, train line, heading to Macoya Extension, all the way in the back of Blue Waters, you have farmers there, all the way to Maloney, over the highway is St. Augustine constituency. And every one of them have land issues that range from agricultural leases to be renewed, squatters to be regularized, and we also have agriculture further on this side. But we have some land is NHA, now HDC, and some land is state land. So there are different categories of squatters. And I did meet, when I met with Mr. Saddam Hussein, he responded immediately. I met with LSA, and they now have a map of St. Augustine, and they have mapped the areas that LSA will cover, and how we have to now make a plan how we go about it. So I will be having separate meetings in St. Augustine constituency with the various groups, because the information from the commissioner to the people in Bamboo will be a little different to the information from, let's say, the people from the Eastern Extension or the train line. So I will meet with each of them so that you will get this advice from the technical persons. And again, well, throughout St. Augustine, flooding is an issue. The highway runs straight through the constituency. We are bordered by the Eastern Main Road and the Southern Main Road. So Highways Division will be welcoming you to those meetings. And the traffic people might get away in some of those areas because some is agricultural areas and we don't have traffic challenges per se. But we have some bridges that fallen down for years that we are now getting the Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of Local Government to give us confirmation that they will do these projects. And so I want to continue these meetings where we will give the communities updates. So if you have family in other parts of the constituency, you can let them know that we will be willing to come and address this issue. But we want to vote some answers for them, right? Not just talk and memorize people. We want to have some real solutions.
Thank you, Ms. With that being said, I would like to call upon Ms. Bina Lutron to do a vote of thanks.
Good night, everyone. Honorable Deputy, Ms. Ms. Khadijah, Board Protocol Officer. As we come to the end of this Bamboo community meeting, I would like to take a moment to extend our sincere thanks to all those who contributed to making this evening both productive and worthwhile. We thank the Ministry of Goods and Transport, the Ministry of Mr. Patterson, and Mr. Shivan Ramswal, site engineer, for taking the time to listen carefully to the drainage issues raised and for providing insight into the steps ahead. We also acknowledge the Highways Division, Ms. Patrice Caprietta, Director, and Mr. Mark Cooper, Chief Technical Officer, for addressing road infrastructure concerns and helping residents better understand the processes involved. Our gratitude goes as well to the Office of Commissioner of State Lands, Ms. Paula Drees, Commissioner of State Lands, Mr. Darian Wallace, Technical Advisor to the Minister of Land and Legal Affairs, and Mr. Rajesh Wal, for engaging on important matters that directly impact many families within this community. We also like to thank the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government, particularly the Disaster Unit, for your continued role in supporting community safety and preparedness. From the Ministry of Transport Traffic Management Branch, we extend special thanks to the Honorable Eli Zapu, Minister of Transport and Civil Aviation, along with Mr. Adani Pickle, Chief Traffic Engineer, and Mr. Natal Saka, Chief Traffic Warden. We appreciate your willingness to hear the traffic concerns raised and to respond in a meaningful and informative way. To all the officials present, thank you not just for attending but for listening, engaging, and taking the time to respond to the concerns of your residents. And finally, to the residents of Bamboo Number 2, thank you for coming out, for speaking up, and for continuing to advocate for your community. Your voices are important, and meetings like this are a reflection of a collective effort. Thank you all once again, and I wish everyone a safe journey.
So we have a special young lady who is a constituent who has some really good doubles. So we couldn't find Rocky. Rocky set up this morning. So we have Tina. So we have doubles for everyone, like refreshment. So I'll be here. I know a lot of holidays wait till the meeting is done. And then come with your complaints or concerns because you don't want to raise it in the meeting. So I'll be here for a little while, but in the meanwhile, you can mingle and have doubles. All our representatives stay and have doubles. If you can't stay and have that, you can take it away. But we extend it to you as well.
Khadijah, Gary just wants you to say a few words to the lives.
Oh, really? I have a live going on.
How you doing, sis? I finally got some help to cover you.
Good. Yeah, I'm turn the camera so I can see him.
Oh, that's not even like.
Okay.
This is going to make a few comments.
So much for your support, Gary. We had a productive meeting, and we'll be doing more like these.
Sis,
Okay, Gary, I'll try to get Simone.
Yeah, I didn't finish talking to her. Let me go back to her now.
She's posing for a few pictures out there.
Okay. Get Seema. But
Yeah,
see if you could catch her before you leave. See if you can catch her again. How you doing, sis? I finally got some help. It's Gary Marbier.
Gary Marbier. Okay.
Hey, Gary.
Yeah,
so, main message. I'm waiting to present the minister with a new design.
Right.
We are creating a model of. So, we're here, we're sticking around. And it was very interesting. A lot of issues with flooding and drainage. But we are going to be addressing that.
Ken, how we feel about increasing the capacity of the pumps and stuff like that, but we will talk to her and also mention to her about that same thing you told me today about with Master. Mention to her about the thing. All right. So I'll catch you later. Enjoy. Enjoy. We'll talk soon.
Definitely. Thanks. Thank you.
All right then. Rajan, if you could catch her after she finished there, that'd be nice.
I think I have a lot of people who didn't speak with her. How does it think?
Well,
Everybody wants to talk to her. Gary, that looks like it will be difficult to get her alone. I think we could. I think what I'll do is sign off now, and we'll get her again because she'll be at our next meeting on Tuesday. So we can have her expand a little bit more at that one, probably even before the meeting, or at least afterwards. So we have a little more control at that meeting.
Okay then.
All right. So we're gonna sign off from here.
All right then. All right. Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah.
Okay. Bye.